There's at least one maker who is taking an exam for school today and is unable to participate. So I'm super excited to meet everybody. I'm Trisha. I'm the executive director of Handmade Arcade. I have had a lot of coffee and I'm crazy on a regular day. So just bear with me if I talk too fast or you need me to repeat something or I'm not making any sense. Just be like, slow down. You can unmute yourself, talk whenever you like. If you want to ask a question, you can, however you want to do it, raise your hand. I am going to ask everyone who's able to turn their, you don't have to have your camera on the whole time, but I'd like to see everyone's face for just a little bit, just so I can see what you look like. And we're going to do introductions. I'll start with myself. My name is Trisha. I have been a maker my whole life. I used to hand sew clothes for my stuffed animals when I was a little girl, and my grandmother taught me how to cross stitch and do all sorts of stuff. And I've never stopped making. I've always been I've painted on, I used to paint on I used to get in trouble when I was younger because I would like get something new and I would paint it. I one time painted a mural on my bedroom wall without asking permission first from my mom, and she got really mad at me. And so then that was kind of funny, but it's a good family story now. And as I got older, I went to college. I was an English major, and then I ended up getting a master's degree in multimedia technology and design as an undergrad at Chatham, which is a local Pittsburgh school. I found my love of media art. I ended up minoring in that, and then I ended up becoming a graphic designer. And I worked, fast forward many years, I had kids, took some time off. And then when I decided to go back to work, I was like, I want to get back into the arts and design field in Pittsburgh. And so I started volunteering for Handmade Arcade in 2009. Fast forward to 2021. In between that time and then, we transformed from like a LLC, like a small business run by volunteers, to a nonprofit. And I've sort of spearheaded that transition into the nonprofit world with some other founders of the organization who have since retired from it. And I'm now the executive director. I'm the mother of a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. Both of my daughters are really creative and like to make and do things and are into music. And they've attended Handmade Arcade. They basically grew up there. My first Handmade Arcade, my 17-year-old was 2, and I was pregnant with my 14-year-old. So they've grown up in the maker world. I feel like really connected to people you're in your age group. So if I talk to you like I'm overly familiar with you, or I like call you honey or sweetheart, please don't take offense. It's because I am the mom of teenagers, and literally every single weekend there are teenagers in my house. I was a Girl Scout leader for many years. And so like, I just want to put that out there now, because I may, you know, you might be like, you don't know me, and I'll be, it's not, I'm not, it's just the way I am. I just like, the age group of the youth maker group is like my favorite age that my kids have been so far. And so I just feel really connected to people your age, and I love that you're all making. I don't make anything anymore. I just run this event. I'm going to ask, we have some Handmade Arcade committee members. I'm going to ask them to quickly introduce themselves, and then I'm just going to ask everybody who's able to. Grace, I know you're in the car, so if you're not able to you don't want to like introduce yourself, that's totally cool. So just a quick intro, how old you are. You don't have to say that, or not how old you are, what grade you're in. You don't have to say how old you are. What you make, how you got started, and really, you know, like what you're excited about doing this program. So I'm going to ask the committee members to just do a quick introduction, because they're going to be your mentors and the people you're going to be checking in with throughout this whole process. And I'm going to shut up and I'm going to hand it over to Val.
Morning, everyone. Super excited that you all agreed to do this and you applied. My name is Val, or Valerie. I'm the maker of Simon's granddaughter. I've been a maker with Handmade Arcade since 2015, and I've been with the Youth Maker Committee since 2018. I work at Pitt full time, so Simon's granddaughter is actually my side hustle. I'm in vision research, but I'm a maker at heart. So just like Trisha, I was painting glass bottles when I was super tiny. painting rocks, just anything I can get my hands on. But currently I upcycle plates, and I write and then transfer words. Some aggressive words, some not aggressive words. But everything I do is upcycle based. And yeah, so I'm excited to work with you guys and see all your creative talents.
All right, Michelle, you unmuted, so you're going.
All right, great. Hi, Michelle Lancet. I'm a lifelong maker of all needle arts. My grandmother was the one that got me into cross stitching as an elementary school student. I kind of consider that was my gateway, into the needle arts world. And I basically have been a knitter and sewing my whole life. I grew up with my mom making a lot of our clothes as kids, and that love never died. And while I went to work in research, and I'm currently working in research, I did take some time to pursue some other interests regarding, the arts and crafts world. And I opened a brick and mortar fabric shop and sewing studio in Pittsburgh, and did that for 3 years. And what I most loved about that experience was the classroom aspect of it. I really love the empowerment that comes from teaching someone how to make. And that's why this youth maker program is one of my favorite things in Handmade Arcade, because I just love seeing, the next generation of makers get their products out there and really become empowered to run a business if you'd like. I've been part of Handmade Arcade for a long time, starting as an attendee. I then led some hands-on activities as when I had my fabric business, and then I was asked to join the advisory committee, and that's why I'm here today. So thank you so much for putting your trust in us, and we really look forward to seeing what you have to show us.
All right, Samantha B.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sam. My jewelry line is called Luster. Yesterday was my wedding anniversary, but it's also the anniversary of when my jewelry making began. So I can now say that it is 17 years old. I started by making necklaces for the bridesmaids that were going to be in my wedding. And after all the wedding craziness, I was like, that was really fun. I just want to keep going. And I just couldn't stop, and I haven't stopped since. When I'm not doing Luster, I am the artist manager for the Artsmiths in Carnegie, and we're a nonprofit, and we have a shop and classroom space, and we also do outreach for art kits for kids. So we're really busy over there. Our shop hosts about 250 local artists. So after Handmade Arcade, if you want to think about selling in a physical space, come and see me. I have been doing Handmade Arcade since 2011. And I think the same year as Val and Michelle, I think 2018, 2017, we were asked to join the committee. And so it's really great for me to be here to meet our younger makers and help you guys get on your way and see how much you're going to do in the next few months and totally kick ass. So I'm very excited.
I should also point out that we swear here at Handmade Arcade. So I swear a lot in front of my children, in front of their friends.
Sorry.
So no, that's not a scolding. I'm just letting you young folks know that we're not going to be like your teachers in school. We try to be much more relatable. So
let it out. That's what I always say. Let it out.
Or if you are super frustrated and mad about something didn't work and you tried something and you want to let it out, let it out. We are here for it. I don't think I said this, but I think I started selling in Handmade Arcade in 2006, and it was founded in 2004. So I feel like it's like a part of, like, it's so much part of my life, I may never be out of it. So that said, I'm going to ask Emily to introduce herself, let everybody else know what you make and where you go to school and all that good stuff.
I'm Emily. I'm a senior at North Allegheny High School. I got started I mean, I've always loved art ever since I was a child, and I've taken art throughout high school. And I opened my own Etsy shop in 2019. I make jewelry, like rings out of wire. I paint characters like Disney characters on little mini canvases. And I do some other different paintings. And I'm just excited for this opportunity to see where it can take me. So.
All right, Hannah, I'm just going in order of how you are on my screen. So Hannah, you are next on my screen. If you want to say hello to everybody.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I am in 11th grade and I go to an online school called Reach Cyber Charter. I've always loved doing crafty things and artsy things. I always painted and always drew. I did crochet for a while. But now I sell like hand warmers and I sew them into stuffed animals that I make on my own. So yeah.
All right, Nichelle, you are next.
Hi guys. Oh, sorry. So is this part of the interview where we show our pieces, or is that later?
You know what, if let's just introduce ourselves, and then if you want to show your piece, if you want to show your piece, totally show it now, and we can go back to Emily and Hannah if you guys brought stuff I forgot about. I'm also super forgetful, so remind me if I say we're going to do something. So yeah, show us what you made.
Well, hi, my name is Nichelle. I'm not in school. I'm a 2020 grad. I'm 19 years old. My arts are crochet, resin art, handmade skincare, and snowball tumblers. So I got started with crochet when I was about 10 years old. I walked into the Homewood Carnegie Library. I saw a whole bunch of balls of yarn on the table, and I inquired about what they were and what they were for, and the rest is history. So here's one of my crochet pieces. It's a bralette. Not sure if you guys can see it, but yeah. I got started with resin about a year ago just because I seen it on the internet and I thought it was pretty cool. This is an order that I received that the customer never picked up. So it's a tray and a matching ashtray. So I've been doing this for maybe a year and some change, and my skincare line has been a little on and off. I just have never had the proper funding to be able to get all of the natural ingredients that I wanted for that. But the reason that I started that is because there's so many things that we put into our bodies and onto our bodies that we don't understand or even know how to pronounce the ingredients within them. So I wanted to create something that's not strictly vegan, but everything that I use for my skincare line comes out of the ground or is natural, it comes out of some plant or something of that sort. And then the snow globe tumblers rather, are just cute little double wall tumblers with glitter inside. And I just think they're really cute. That's all.
Nichelle, do you think that if like you were to focus in, I'm just asking this because I'm trying to think about, as you guys are talking, who to pair you up with, a mentor. Do you think you would want to have a mentor who is more about skincare, to like talk to them more about that, who's also like a maker? But because there's a woman who owns a skincare, Una Biologicals. Her name is Jessica Graves, and it's a store in Lawrenceville. And she has always wanted to really get involved with our youth maker stuff. So as you're doing this, like, you know, think about like, you know, what one of your products, because you make some really cool stuff, like if you would want to learn the most about, if that like falls into that category. You don't have to answer me right now.
Definitely. I'll definitely be. I'm just having some trouble figuring out which thing I want to focus on for this event.
That's cool. And that's totally fair, because the skincare might be hard for you to sort of develop in the time frame, but I can still hook you up with Jess to learn more about it, because she would be a really great resource for you, because she's all natural, all organic. So I'm just taking notes and trying to think about that. So I'm going to move on to Imani and ask.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Imani. I am a senior at SciTech. I make soaps. So I got into this. It all started, I had a treat business with 3 of my other friends, which didn't work out too well. But I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur and have my own business, say I have something of my own and I did this myself. So I was in the process of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I felt like it was like a sign or something, because I was on social media scrolling and I kept seeing how to make soap, how to make soap. So I'm like, you know what, why not give it a try and start my own soap business? And I have some right next to me. This is just one of my regular lemon bars. You can see the little sun design. It's kind of hard to see it up close, but that's one of them. And then this little heart one is called the Yoni soap. It's a feminine hygiene soap. And yeah, that's what I got.
That's awesome. I know who I'm going to pair you up with already, and it is not the same person that I might pair Nichelle up with, but I have a soap maker who loves to work with youth makers who can help you think past the soap and into doing like, if you want, but she'll help you with that, and that'll be great. Grace, are you able to introduce yourself, or do you want to wait till the next time? You can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll do it now quickly. Hi, I'm Grace Avery. I'm a senior this year. I go to a small Catholic high school called Olsh. I crochet everything under the sun. Usually I crochet a lot of little toys for kids. I make a lot of like little kind of like blanket loveys. I make play foods. I make hats. I make scarves. I make shawls. I make anything I can possibly make, because I'm always working something with my hands. I'm a busybody. I always am making something no matter what. On my lap here in the car, I have like 4 different crochet projects everywhere.
Great, thanks. Emily, did you happen to bring a product? Did you want to show?
Yeah, I do have a few
Okay,
things.
why don't we do that, and then we'll go back to Hannah,
yeah.
and then we'll move on.
So one of my main focuses of my shop is little characters, specifically Disney characters. I also have like these abstract churches that they come in all different sizes. They're made with paint and then like paint pens. And I also have like wire rings that I make, if you can see that, and different jewelry like choker necklaces and bracelets, anklets, and so different things like that.
Emily, did you say you sell on Etsy?
I do, yeah.
So I just have just a question with copyright, because we have a lot of makers that do a lot of different things like pop culture-y. And have you ever had any issues with selling like the Disney characters with copyright stuff? Or
I haven't had any issues.
Okay, all right, good. Then if you haven't had any issues on Etsy, then I'm not going to worry about it.
Yep.
Handmade Arcade. Hannah, can you give us a breakdown of what you show us what you have with you today?
Yeah, so I have 3 different animals here. I think I do 2 more. I've got a bear. He's got a hand warmer in the butt. So there's that. We have a candy cane bee. He's got a warmer in his belly. And we have a dog. And then we have a neck warmer, which is just longer than the regular neck warmer or hand warmer.
Awesome. That's so cute. Also, I am a lover of stuffed animals, and so that would give me a reason to weirdly carry a stuffed animal around with me, which I might buy one from you for football games. Okay. Well, cool. Everybody, I feel like you guys are all gonna do really well. I think that you're all on track to already having your products and knowing what you're doing. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about what it means to participate in Handmade Arcade, and what your expectation will be. And then we'll go through the assignments and the milestones that we talked about in the form you filled out, so that we're all on the same page. The key to success at Handmade Arcade is basically showing up and setting deadlines and making sure you meet those deadlines, and checking in with us if you're having a hard time. We get it. I, especially with, a high school senior who's plays 2 sports, is in all AP classes, is also an artist. And I know like I would love her to do this program. She's going to go to school for design, but when I mention it to her, like, it's like, Mom, I can't take that on. It's too much. So like, if you find yourself like stressing out or whatever, like tell us, we can help you. We can make you feel better. We've all been there. We want you to succeed more than anything. And if success to you looks like you get to Handmade Arcade with 20 products, that is success. If success to you looks like you get to Handmade Arcade with 120 products, that is a success. Like, so just like keep an open dialogue with us, because we understand that like this can get stressful and overwhelming. And especially now when I sort of like share my screen and start to talk to you about what a day at Handmade Arcade entails, I don't want anybody to be like I don't want to freak anybody out, but I want you to know we're here for you. We're here to support you. That is our main goal, to lift you up and to give you a good experience. And so I'm going to share my screen and go through like a quick PDF. If you have questions as I'm talking, just interrupt me. I'm totally fine with that. Or like so I have two screens. So I'm going to be looking at my other screen while I talk to you guys. So if like Val or Michelle or Sam, anybody like sees like they want to ask a question, just somebody stop me and I will answer it. All right, here we go. All right, so do you guys see the screen that says Handmade Arcade, the cutting edge of craft, first of all?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great, because I often share the wrong screen because I have two screens. Okay, let me do this as full screen. Okay, so, all right, so Handmade Arcade, this is our mission statement, basically in a nutshell, is connecting creators and consumers through the making, sharing, and learning. So our goal is to find makers, work with creatives, and connect you to people who want to buy handmade stuff. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. We want to support makers in a way that they can make money and make connections and maybe get a wholesale order from a store and make connections to store owners like Sam, who works at the Art Smiths in Carnegie. And we want to inspire people to be creative and experiment and make and try new things. So I'm going to just go through sort of the breakdown of the day. I'm going to skip this slide real quick because we'll go back to that. So getting to Handmade Arcade, getting to the day itself, well, let's stay here. In 2019, that was our biggest year ever, pre-pandemic year. I'm going to just sort of explain to you what we're going to do for the pandemic year. We had over 10,000 people attend the event between the hours of 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So that's a lot of people. We are not going to, and the crowd it gets really crowded during certain times. We are taking COVID precautions this year that will include so the event is free, it's free admission. We do a fundraiser Friday night and early Saturday morning before we open to the public, where people pay to get in, and that's like a limited ticket. And then for the rest of the day this year, people are going to have to sign up for entrance times. So that way we're able to control the crowd. So we won't have a huge amount of people in like you can see in this picture, like how crowded it is. It hopefully this year will not look that crowded. You can see how big the room is. This wall right here is actually the convention center is working with us for safety reasons. And so we're in this same room, and you can see it's got really high ceilings and windows. So it's got really great ventilation. They have basically like hospital grade or better ventilation. The convention center is a green building. So it is like, it was built for safety and air ventilation, and so in mind. So this wall here is going to be opened up, and we're going to be having the event in like 1.5 rooms, which is like really big. So that we can have more space in between each like booth, and so there's more space for the crowd. We're going to have the crowd walk in the door, like we're going to control the crowd like in a way we've never done before. We're going to have them walk in a certain door. We're going to like make sure that they like sort of go through, kind of like how Giant Eagle had arrows on the floor during the height of things, the shutdown. we're not going to force people to like walk in a certain direction if they want to go back, but we're going to like kind of encourage the crowd to flow in a certain way. And we have 50 less tables on the floor than we had in 2019. So that allows for more space. And then the other thing that we're doing to keep it safe is that we're not having our hands-on activity area that we've had in the past, but we are going to have artist demos. So you can like, instead of like going and physically making a screen print this year, the people who do screen printing like at the event they'll have it all set up, they'll screen print, you can watch, and then they'll give it to you. Masks will be required to be worn as you know, indoor. So you know, you can, if you need to like take a break or take a walk or whatever, you can, you know, like there's a place you can go outside that's not far, like right outside in the lobby. There's like a, you know, what's it called, like a little patio, or if like you just want to like, you know, crouch down behind your desk and take your mask off and take a couple deep breaths, that's totally going to be okay. But we are going to, like, you know, masks are going to be required, and we're going to have timed entrances to control the crowd. So load in for the youth makers.
I have a question.
Sure, of course.
I saw in the email that you said we would have 2 tables and a chair. I was wondering if I was allowed to bring someone to help me with my table.
Oh yeah. We will get to that. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So you're only actually going to have 1 table. You're going to have 1 table and 2 chairs. So if it said 2 tables and 1 chair, that was a mistake. So you're going to have one.
I thought I said a table and 2 chairs. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. You may have said that, and I like I said, I had a lot of coffee this morning. So so everyone's going to get a 10-foot by 10-foot vendor space, which is basically like a big tent, like and so you'll have 1 8-foot by 2.5-foot table. We will provide you with a table covering. If you want to use your own table covering, that's fine. But we're going to provide all the youth makers with a black table covering, just as like sort of a base. And you will all be grouped together. So like we'll have it like we like put signs up, and we like sort of make a big deal about we call it the Youth Maker Alley. So yes, you can bring tables, and you 100% should bring family and friends, support people, because it's a long day. Absolutely anyone you want to have with you you are allowed to have with you. If you want to have 1 support person, that's fine. If you want to have 6 support people, that's fine. There is no limit on that for any of our makers. Everyone's allowed to have support people. It's really, when I get into like the details of the timing of things, you'll understand why, which I'm going to talk about right now. So load in. We only have access. So this might get complicated. So let me get through it and then ask questions. So the way the convention center works is that there's a loading dock. So you'll be able to drive up to the loading dock. We have access to the loading dock and the events, the convention center Teamsters between 12 and 4 on Friday only. That, I understand you guys are in school, that can pose a problem. If you can get to the convention center to load in before 4 o'clock on Friday, you'll be able to use the loading dock and the help of the Teamsters. They will like put your stuff on cards and push it to your table. If you cannot get to the convention center before 4 o'clock on Friday to load in, that is okay. We will have you you can still come up onto the loading dock and use the back door to get in. You just won't be able to have access to the Teamsters, but we will still have, Handmade Arcade owns a cart, and we will still be back there to help you. Ideally, we would like everyone to load in on Friday. If you can, it'll just make your life so much easier on Saturday. If something happens and you've got, if you have a school event or you just can't do it, you just can't make it happen, and you need to load in on Saturday, you will not be able to use the loading dock. You will pull up. So I'm going to go back to this map. So the loading dock entrance, this is Fort Duquesne Boulevard. This is the river right here. The loading dock, and this is like, there's a road that goes between the convention center, the parking lot, and then where our hall will be. The loading dock is off of Fort Duquesne Boulevard, and then there's a vendor entrance to the loading dock. There's a light here, and Garrison Street is right here, and then Kappa High School is right here. If you go past this, you're gonna have to like go around because you can miss it, but you'll go into the loading dock and you'll be directed by, we'll have Handmade Arcade volunteers and security guards telling you where to go, and you'll park in the loading dock and unload, and then you'll take your car, whoever has brought you will have to, you can't leave your vehicle on the loading dock, then you'll have to leave and go and park someplace else. We will reimburse or give you guys stipend money the day of the event. So you don't have to, you will have to like pay up front for parking, but well, you might not actually. When you check in on the loading dock, you check in with somebody at the welcome table, and we'll give you an envelope that will give you money to pay for parking for both Friday and Saturday. So you can either park at the convention center lot, which is going to cost on Friday, it's going to be an hourly rate, or there's other parking lots that I'll show you where they are in a minute that are really close and like a block away. So if you come during the time when you can use the loading dock, you come up to the loading dock. If you come after like the loading dock time, what you'll do is on 10th Street here, there's a drop-off zone and there's a door right here. So if you are going to be dropped off, or if you're going to like load off and on the sidewalk, just let us know. We can have like somebody bring a cart down, or if you're able to get your stuff into the convention center, like when I used to do events, I would actually pack all my stuff in a big rolly suitcase, and that way it was like really easy, and it was like on wheels. I had like a really big oversized suitcase that I would put everything in, and then you would just come into this west lobby door, and there's an elevator, and you take the elevator up and you go over to the hall, and there will be signs everywhere. So you don't
we
have
go over this again closer to date, just so in case, because that's a lot of info. I'll probably forget.
I didn't hear the first part of that.
Well, we go over these details.
Yeah,
closer.
100%. In fact, you guys
Okay.
will get like, you're gonna get added to the vendor. So you're gonna get added to the email list for the makers, for all the makers. And all of this information will be on it. And all of this information will be on an FAQ page on the website. And we will talk about this again. So I just wanted to let you know though, because like the loading dock thing is new this year. In the past, we've had access to it on Friday and Saturday, but this year it's Friday only. Friday night, we have a Friday night fundraiser from 5 to 7:30 that we sell tickets to. It's like a small amount of people. If you're able to set up and be there for it, you'll definitely make some sales. But you're only required to be there on Saturday. So this is basically everything I went over. Let's see. Okay, so these are the parking garages that are closest to the convention center. You don't need to memorize this now. This will all be saved. Oh, am I recording? Yes, okay, good. That's the kind of thing that I do, I forget. So this, you don't need to worry about this now, but we'll provide you with the location and I need to double check the rates of all of the parking lots because they probably changed since 2019. But we'll share with you like the closest places to park. Okay, so event day expectations. So on Saturday, December 4th, you need to be at your table and ready to sell by 9:30 a.m. We do what's called an early bird ticket sale, and those folks purchase tickets to come in early. They're there from 9:30 until 11, and it's a really small crowd. And these are like these are like the folks who like scour the map, know what they want, know who they want to buy from, come in, shop, and go before the crowds come in. The crowds can be in the past pretty much nonstop until late afternoon. This year, I don't know what to expect in terms of crowd volume. Because of the signups, like it might, if you've been at a Handmade Arcade before, if you've attended one before, it might seem like the crowd is smaller than it has been before, but I feel like that's unlikely in the long run. It's just going to be spaced out more because of the timed entrances. It's really important to wear comfortable shoes at the event because the floor is concrete and your feet really start to hurt at the end of the day. I often wear sneakers and then bring like my most comfortable pair of boots. Like I wear Doc Marten boots, and I'll either switch in and I'll like switch my shoes halfway through the day because it does help your feet feel better. And we always recommend, because it's winter time, to wear layers because hold on, my dog is banging at the door. Because the the temperature can fluctuate in the room because the ceilings are so high, depending on how cold it is outside that day. It can be warm, it can be cold. So we just, want to talk about that. I always recommend you bring food and water, bring food to snack on that you like. The concession stand will be open this year, but it will only be grab and go food. So I think that it's a lot easier to just, if you get hungry, to have something behind your table. Like if you're going to eat, like maybe have somebody else like be at your table selling for you, and like step, like kind of further back so that you can take your mask off and eat comfortably. And definitely bring helpers. If you've got support, if you've got family who can support you, you definitely want to bring them, because it is hard to talk all day long. It's hard to like you almost feel like after a while you're like put yourself in like a selling kind of role, and it gets exhausting. So if you can sort of like take a break from talking, you're going to want to do that. And we have a lot of volunteers and organizers up at the welcome table who will be at the front of the hall. If you guys need anything at all during the day, I always have like extra food and extra waters and things for youth makers that we will always have. So we are there to help. We can provide support if you have any questions, any issues with anyone. Hopefully people, for the most part, the people who participate in Handmade Arcade and shop at Handmade Arcade are they're really nice. Like we're very fortunate in that like the people who attend our event understand that this is like people are making their living using their hands, and they're very dedicated to like buying local, shopping small, shopping handmade, understanding like the time and effort it takes to create something. So my experience, since 2006 has always been a really positive experience at Handmade Arcade. So it's my hope that that is the same for you, and that you do, like may have some sales. So this is like super, okay. I'm just going to skip some things. All right, so I don't want to talk just yet about what you guys should bring. I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to talk to you guys about what's different this year than last year for the youth maker. Not different, but like what Handmade Arcade is doing differently to structure the program to maximize success for everyone. So when you filled out the form to like welcoming you to the youth maker program, we talked about some milestones. And I want to talk about those today. So some of the milestones, so we want to keep you on track, right? So we want to make sure that you guys are getting your supplies in time to make what you want to make, and getting the support you need from your mentors, and having the time to create the inventory that you think is good for what you want to sell. Every maker is different. Like I can't say to you, definitely, you need to bring 300 wrapped rings, they're all going to sell, or you need to bring 100 hand warmers, they're all going to sell. Like we can't say that to you, because like we just don't know what's going to happen. But what we can do is have you set what you think is a reasonable goal based on what you do, based on your schedule, based on your activities, based on what you're doing outside of school. What's reasonable for you as the individual to create for an inventory for the event. So we're going to have, so some of the milestones. For the first one is the commitment and parent permission forms. So I sent those to you yesterday in an email. I sent you a so if you got the email from me yesterday, you got two emails from me. One saying they were attached, and then a second one where they were actually attached. That's like classic. That's a classic Trisha maneuver right there. You're going to very often get an email from me that says this is attached, and then you'll get a follow-up. So the commitment and parent permission forms, actually, I'm going to open them up and just like go through them really quickly with you. They're just basically because, well, who is over 18? Was it Nichelle is 19? So you actually don't need, and if any of you are 18 or older, you don't need to have the parent permission form signed by a parent, but I'd still like for you to fill it out because it has some information on it that will be helpful for us. So let me just open it up and we'll take a look at it together as soon as it opens. Work with me, Word. Okay, so the commitment form is simple. It just basically says that you understand that we're going to have 3 virtual meetings, milestones and check-in requirements. And then if you can't attend a meeting, you're going to watch it, because we will go, this meeting is really just like an information dump, and you do not have to remember everything we talk about, because I'm going to send you more information via email. So this meeting is important, but like, don't panic if you can't remember everything I've said, because it's going to get repeated. And it says that if you don't meet the milestones, communicate your goals and check in. We have the right to ask you to leave the program. The reason why we added this is because in the past we've given chances to some makers. For example, in 2019, we had a really talented young man who we gave him his money. We bought him supplies, we sent them to him, and he just never followed through with making anything. He only showed up with what he had when he applied, which was like 3 pieces. And he had all the best intentions in the world, and he was an incredibly sweet, kind young guy, but he didn't, it was like, it was just, I think it was just like, you know, it was just hard for everyone. And we had invested money in him, and you know, we're a nonprofit. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of money to invest. So we just want to make sure that you're meeting these milestones, and they're not hard. They're just check-ins, really. So if you're really behind or something, and we feel like you're not going to make it, we may say, listen, this isn't going to work out. Maybe you shouldn't attend the event day, because when this young man showed up with his only, and then 3 years ago, we also had a young woman only show up with 2 pieces. They stood there all day and nobody bought from them. And it was just really kind of like a heartbreaking situation. So we want to set you up for success, but we're also going to be honest with you if like, you know, but I feel like all of you are already you're already like so far ahead of the game that I'm like actually really confident that we're not going to be in that situation this year. So, but I just wanted to put that out there. And then also we're just asking you to like be open to learning new things and sharing ideas and being respectful of other people's views. And then we want you to understand that we're not actually giving you $500. We're going to purchase materials for you up to $500. So I will go over the inventory order or the materials order form soon as well, so that you can see like what I mean by that. So this has today's date on it. I got this to you late. If you guys can get these things signed, and I'm going to send like a follow-up of this meeting, if you can get the permission forms and the commitment forms signed and sent back to me by Friday the 24th, that'll be perfect. You just need to, if you don't have a scanner or a printer, you can just do it digitally. You can print your name and just put your name in there and save it and send it back to me. If you're able to sign it and you want to just like take a picture of it and email that to me or text that to me, that is also fine. I will take this is all can be done digitally. You don't have to like, you don't even, you don't have to worry about that. The parental permission form, it has some little more information in it. It's mostly if you're under 18, it just sort of goes through like what, like you're getting a 10-foot space, you have to attend the meetings. We're going to talk about these topics in the next 2 meetings. It talks about the stipend and matching you with a mentor. I'm going to send you, if I didn't already, a link to join our Facebook group, which is a place where you can like interact with professional makers and folks who, if you have questions, that's a good place to ask them. We've got a couple makers who are really engaged in that space and will help you. And then also like I will need to know, as I asked in the form, if anyone's going to need assistance with a cash drawer, which I will talk about in a few minutes, and taking credit cards, which I will talk about in a few minutes, because the sooner we know that, the easier it will be for us to help you. And so basically like you need to get this signed. And if you are over 18, just read it and sign it yourself for yourself. You need to have a parent or guardian sign it. And then there's also a media release for the folks, especially who are under 18, that allows us to, if we take your picture, we can then use it in social posts or promotional posts after the event, or for next year's event when we like to start like advertising for our youth maker program. So, and it just has all of that. So you guys should have all gotten that in your email. And so we just want to get those back to us, the permission forms, by Friday, September 24th. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about the materials order form, which is an Excel spreadsheet, which everyone got. Now this is where you're going to get what you need to make what you're going to make. So you need to think about what you're going to, like where you're going to focus your pieces of what you're going to make. And then you're going to do the research. This is like, you know, what you would do if you were buying stuff online. And we're going to do everything digitally this year. So if you want to order stuff from Joann Fabric or whatever, like if you know, like you want to go and buy fabric and you want to check it out or whatever, like you can sort of send me like, look, I'm going to need this many yards of fabric. If you want to buy fabric or go to Joann and buy things in person, I can do a gift card for you. I know that that's like, because like sometimes purchasing fabric online is like, you know, you don't necessarily want to do that. But for other things, we'll talk about, if you're going to want to buy fabrics, we'll have like a separate conversation about that. But for the most part, like what you'll do is you'll fill in this part, your company name, and this is like your address right here. So that's where I know where to send it, because whatever I order online for you, I'm going to send it directly to your home. So you'll put the item name, the description of how you're going to use it, and then you copy and paste the link from like where, if you're on Amazon, you copy and paste the link, how much of them you want, if it's like a pack of 12 and you want 3 packs of it, the unit price, and then the total. So like if you know you want 2 packs of something and it's $12.99, this should, so it'll just add it all up for you here. And then down at the bottom, it'll add it up. And then that way you can keep track of what it is you're purchasing. And you can keep track of like, you know, if you want, you know, when you get to up to $500, then that's your limit. If you want to purchase, a few years ago, we had a young woman who was screen printing, and she wanted to purchase a screen printing. She wanted to purchase a piece like it was like a device to screen print, like a piece, like a machine. I don't know what the heck. Like I can't. I know exactly. I could see it, and it was like a mobile screen printing thing. And
Like a press?
Yeah, like a tiny little mobile screen printing press. And it was like $399 or whatever it was. And that's what she ordered. Like she ordered that, we paid for it, she used it, she's still using it, she's still making stuff with it. So like if you want to use your $500 to say like buy a new sewing machine because you sew a lot and you could use a new sewing machine, or you want to buy, you know, something like that, and it's within the price range, that's fine. Like however you want to use the $500 is completely up to you. If you want to buy like molds or jars for so if you want to like make, you know, if you're making like body butters or whatever, like you can buy like the jars, the containers, whatever you want to use it for, you can do that. So this is would like for you to start thinking about your materials or your material orders and have your first draft of what you'd like to order to us by September 27th. And that's a Monday. So you have that weekend to look at it. Now that doesn't mean that that's like your final order, because like when you start to do this, when you start to really dig in and think about it, you're going to start thinking about, it's going to like, your mind's going to be like, what am I, this is crazy. So you, so if you get me like a first draft of this is what I'm thinking about ordering by the 27th, then I'll sit down and take a good look at it and see what you're thinking about doing. If it looks good to me, I'll let you know, and I'll be like, hey, this looks great. Are you ready to finalize it? And you say, yes, we'll make the order. If you're like, this is what I'm thinking about, I'm not sure about a few things. Can we talk through it? We'll schedule it like a one-on-one meeting with either me, maybe, and your mentor, and we can like figure it out. If you are making a bunch of products and you aren't sure yet where you want to spend your money, this will be a good way for you to focus in on what it is you want to make. So if you guys can like start to think about what you want to order and get me a draft, of this. Now the reason why this is kind of a fast turnaround and it might seem like really quick is because sometimes because a couple of reasons, because of the pandemic, materials, it's harder to get materials right now than it ever has been for makers, especially ordering. And there are shipping issues. Like if you can order stuff on Amazon, and we have Handmade Arcade has Amazon Prime, so it'll get to you quickly. That's great. But if you are like ordering something from like a shop that's like, like glass jars for lotions or whatever, that might take a little bit longer. So we want to get these orders placed as soon as possible to get the materials in your hands as soon as possible so that you can then work on your next milestone, which is your inventory planning calendar, which I'm going to hand over to Val because I'm going to stop my share, and she is really good at this, and she's going to talk to you about how she plans her inventory and what she does. So I'm going to mute myself.
So it's actually pretty easy. The easiest way that I do everything is just by printing off literally blank calendars. And then I work myself backwards. First and foremost, I do add in personal things, personal days, events that I know I can't make or work or focus on Simon's granddaughter at that time. Then I figure out how much I want to make, what is the easiest thing to make and what is the hardest thing to make, meaning what takes the least amount of time, what takes the most amount of time. And normally I try to break that up. So of course, common sense, whatever takes the most amount of time, you're going to want to start now. Least amount of time, you can kind of push that off towards maybe November. But break it down based off of days that you know that you're comfortable with putting in the time to sit down and really bust out, a good portion of your stuff. Trisha will share the blank calendars that I use. The other thing too, just that I do add on there as well, is posts. Do your social media post, plan when you want to put those on as well, to get people interested in what you're making and just to remind them about the event as well. I'm happy to even if you said like, hey, I'm going to make 20 of these, what do you think is like a good time frame? I'd be happy to look at your calendars too and kind of give you some feedback if I think it's getting a little bit too close. The one other thing too I will mention is knowing that Handmade Arcade is set to start on Friday the 3rd. I do like to give myself at least 5 days prior, maybe even 3, depending on how much you're making, to just look at everything, make sure I am where I'm at. It's okay to keep making all the way up until the 2nd, but try to give yourself some mental space a couple days prior to the show starting as well, just to see where you're at. And if you do need to, make something super quick last minute to finish the inventory, you have that 3 to 5 day wiggle room to do that. That's it, Trish.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I've just gone through tons of information, which I will break down and share digitally and get on the website. But do you guys have any questions right now? I'm going to pause for a moment. Can you guys hear my dog snoring behind me?
No, but I don't have any questions.
Okay, great. So let's see. All right, so then let's talk about, the inventory planning calendar. So like all of the stuff we've talked about today, I'm gonna like organize a lot of it, like the dates, and I'm gonna like pull out the most important information for Handmade Arcade itself, and send that out and like get that on the website and send you guys the link to check in on that. In the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna assign a mentor. Well, in the next week, I'm gonna talk to our different professional makers who have been mentors in the past and ask them if they're interested in doing it again. Val and Sam are going to be mentors. Hello, Christoph, nice to see you. So they're going to be mentors, and then Michelle is going to be sort of like a liaison for you guys. So I'll send this all out in an informational email with their email contacts. But if you have like questions throughout, you can email Michelle and I both, and one of us will answer. One of us may get to you sooner than the other, so feel free to answer us both. I'll send the link to the Facebook page. And then I want to talk right now about taking credit cards and a cash drawer at the event. So one of the things that we've learned over the years is that in order to be able to have a Square account for the event, you need to be 18. I never realized that. I never even considered that. So if you are under 18, you need to have an adult and a guardian, a parent, someone who is willing to let you take a credit card, connect a Square account to their bank account, and take a credit card. You can have the Square reader connected to your phone. You need to have a smartphone. You can get the Square app. And then you can set up your Square account to take with your inventory, which we will talk about it probably our next meeting about how to do that. And so you need to find that out kind of quickly. Like if you need to figure out if you've got someone in your life who's willing to do that piece for you. If you don't have someone, if there's no one that you have that's willing to connect a bank account to a credit card reader for you, that is not a problem. That is not a barrier to participation in any way, shape, or form. What we will do is we will set you up with your own little area in the Handmade Arcade Square account, and we will help you take credit cards the day of the event. Logistically, we haven't 100% figured that out. We might give you an employee login to our account, and then you can run the credit card and run the things yourself. Or we might have a volunteer at the Youth Maker event, at the Youth Maker area, that if somebody wants to buy something from you and use a credit card, they will then go to the volunteer and the volunteer will swipe the card and take care of it. The upside of having somebody do the credit card reader for you that is like in your world is that you have complete control over that money and you can access it right away. If you have to have Handmade Arcade help you, what we will do is once the event is over on Monday after the event, we'll reconcile the bank account. We'll figure out what you sold. Like if let's say I'm just going to use Val's name because she has her camera on and I'm looking at her. If Val used the Handmade Arcade credit card to make her sales at the event, then I will go in and I will have tagged everything that they belong to Val. I'll run a report. I'll see that she sold $300 worth of product. Then with the credit card fees that get taken out, we owe her $272.98. I will then write Val a check for $272.98. If me writing a check poses a barrier to you getting paid and you need me to give you cash, I will get the cash that you need. I will mail you a check. If you need me to give you cash, I will not mail you $272. We'll just have to figure out a time to meet up. I'll come to you, I'll meet you somewhere, wherever it's convenient, and give you your money. So that is how we're going to handle credit cards this year.
I was wondering, do you guys provide Square readers?
We
or how
have
is
a
that?
bunch of Square readers that we will absolutely provide if you need one.
Okay, thanks so much.
When you sign up for a Square account, if you sign up for one, I think you get a free Square reader when you sign up for one, if you do that on your own. But if you don't,
Okay,
go ahead.
I'll check that out.
Just one thing too to mention, if you've already mentioned this, I apologize. When we did have youth makers use their own Square readers and they did sign up for their own accounts, they waited till 9:30 Saturday morning to log in, connect, try everything.
Yeah.
So if you do choose to go that route and get your own Square reader and set that up, please set it up. Like try it, set it up, connect it to your phone. You can do fake sales. You can add in your inventory, like just set it up at least a couple days beforehand. So you're not struggling with that that morning of.
Yeah. And I also just remembered that you guys can also, you don't have to use Square. You can use Venmo. You can use Apple Pay. You can use all the other things that are available that I don't know because I'm almost 50 and I don't keep up with these things. but somebody who's younger than me and does this more often, like Val maybe might know more.
The Venmo, I will say, the Venmo has, and Sam might have seen this too, and even Michelle shopping out at like markets. People now will just frame their Venmo QR code and put it throughout their booth. And as long as you walk up to them, you just scan it, pay it, that's it, you go. Like Venmo's actually taking over, I feel like, as far as very quick, easy, contactless payments go.
Yeah, so I think that like before you go and sign up for Square, maybe do a little bit of research into what's better. I'm gonna put on my to-do list a little bit of research, and I'm gonna like within the next within the next week or so, try to provide you with all of the I'm gonna powwow with some of my maker pals who sell regularly and try to provide you with a bunch of different ways to take electronic payments. So it doesn't have to be Square. I just default back to Square. So don't rush out and sign up for a Square account like the next day or two. Like give me some time to get back to you about payments with more information. But there are a bunch of different ways you can take electronic payments and credit card payments that will be great for you. So we're going to put a pause on that. Does anybody have any other questions about that before I move on to talking about a cash drawer?
No questions here.
Okay, great. Okay, so I totally appreciate you saying no questions, Michelle, because I've been doing these Zoom meetings now I mean, we all have, and sometimes you're just like, hello. So anyway, a cash drawer. What that means is you need to make change. Some people are going to only want to pay with credit cards. Some people are going to have cash. Like, for example, every year at Handmade Arcade, I've given my daughters, $30 each and said, go buy yourself something, whatever. And so they've got the cash. But your product is $17. You are going to need to make change. It's basically just it is what it is called, making change. So what I recommend is you bring 10s, 5s, and 1s. You don't need to bring a ton of them because you will have people paying in cash and giving you money. When you price your items, you want to price them like round. Like you don't want to have something that costs $17.52. You want it to just be, if with tax or whatever, you realize it's $17.52, round up to 18, tax is included in the price. We're not going to actually worry about tax stuff right now for you guys because you're younger. Like I think that you're not going to sell so much at Handmade Arcade that you're not going to like, you need to sell like over, I think it's like thousands of dollars worth of stuff before you have to worry about actually paying sales tax.
$1,200.
$1,200. Okay. So
12,000.
Yeah, 12. That's right. I thought it was over 10,000. So
it's 12,000.
Yeah. So if any of you make $12,000 at Handmade Arcade, come back to me and we'll talk about sales tax. But like that's not going to happen. So no one's ever made. I think the most I've ever heard anyone's ever made is like $7,000 or $8,000 in Handmade Arcade, and that's a professional maker who does this for a living. Like so, that's don't set your expectations that high. So you're going to want to have like a round number. So if you're selling a piece of jewelry and it's $15 and someone hands you a 20, you're going to want to be able to give them $5 back. So you're going to want to have, like, I always recommend, $50, like maybe $30 in ones, some like $100 max in cash in some denomination of 10s, 5s, and 1s. If you find yourself you've run out of change in the day, like a bunch of people paid you 20s and you don't have any 1s left and you need 1s, we can make change for you at the welcome table. So that is not a problem. We don't offer that service to the professional makers, but for the youth makers, we will 100% make change for you if you need it during the day. Now, if you find yourself like, I don't have $100 to start a change drawer for myself. I can't do that. That's really stressful. I can't participate. Stop that thought process right there. We can provide you with a cash drawer. We'll give you we'll figure it out, like the best way to do it. But Handmade Arcade will give you the change you need to start the day. And then at the end of the day, when the day is over, before you go home with the money you've made, you'll just need to return whatever money it is that we gave you. So like if, say, for example, Michelle didn't have $100 to start the day with a cash drawer, didn't know how to get the change made. And she messaged me and she said, hey, Trisha, I really don't think I'm going to be able to have a cash drawer. Say, no problem. I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to show up for you tomorrow with 31s. I like can't even do the math, and like $50 and 50 in ones, and then 50 in 5s and 10s. And then the next morning I'll give her the cash. I'll like have a little receipt. She'll sign it. I'll sign it. And then at the end of the day, before you leave, you'll give me back the $100, and then the money that you made is yours, the whatever's over. So that's how we'll handle a cash drawer. If you are able to bring your own cash drawer, if you have like some, family or whatever, or you've been selling and you're able to do it on your own, you don't want to have me involved at all with your cash drawer, that's also totally fine. We're here to support you with that in any way you need. So that is basically taking digital payments and cash drawers. Other than that, my next steps for you are going to be getting mentors assigned to you. I'm going to do an email mentor introduction before. I'm going to send you an email with like the due dates that I talked about today that include the permission forms, your draft material orders forms. I'm going to send you the inventory planning calendar that Val uses. And then I'd like for you guys to start filling that out, and I'll set a date for you to send me like just a first version of that. It can just be a rough version so I can take a look at what your plans are so we can keep you on track. And so then before our next meeting in October, I'm going to give you guys an assignment, and it's going to be your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is super important for when you're at your table. What I mean by your elevator pitch is you need to figure out what you're going to say when someone comes up to your table. It's not as easy as you think unless you're super outgoing and super chatty and super talkative. It's hard. I am super outgoing. I am an extreme extrovert. I am really chatty and talkative, and I have a hard time with this, and I get tongue-tied and I get caught up in my words, and I, get goofy, and you get tired. So the elevator pitch is basically like, what are you going to say when someone comes up to your table? You're going to make the likelihood of you making a sale increases significantly if someone comes up to your table and you say something chatty to them. If you just stand there and don't say anything, and they're looking at your stuff, they may buy something, they may not. But if you say, oh, hey, do you like that ring? Or, oh, hi, I'm Trisha. I'm a youth maker. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what to say right now. You're gonna increase your chances. People are gonna come up to you and be like, oh, what do you do? What's your story? So if you have like canned answers ready to thinking about them, that's the best way to go about this. Pre-think about what you're gonna say. When I don't make anymore, I made the last couple of years when I've made things for Handmade Arcade, it's like I don't put my heart into it anymore because I'm planning the event. So, but when I used to make these really cute little aprons for kids, for toddlers and young people. And they were brightly colored, and I used upcycled materials that I would get from the Salvation Army materials sale. And I had all sorts of like rickrack and things sewn to them, and I made my own bindings. So when someone would come up to my table, they would be like, oh, these are really cute. And I would always say, yeah, they're great. Do you have any little ones in your life that would need a cute Christmas gift? They're great for playing. They're great for baking. I use upcycled materials. Oh, look at this. Isn't this so cute? I got this rickrack from my grandmother-in-law, because my grandmother-in-law gave me all sorts of stuff when she stopped sewing. So I had sort of I pre-thought about my products and pre-thought about what made them special and why someone would want to buy them. So my assignment to you for the next October meeting is to come up with your elevator pitch. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to ask you all to turn your camera on and tell me why I should buy from you. And I'm going to send you, prior to the meeting, some samples of what you can say. I'm going to put Samantha on the spot right now. Sam, if someone came up to your jewelry table and just said, oh, hey, what's this all about? What do you do? What is this? What would you say just on the spot?
It's funny. I usually try, I'm very shy and I'm very bad at selling my own things. But you kind of get comfortable as the day goes on, and then by the end you kind of hear yourself parroting what you've been saying all day long. But when someone walks in, you just say, hi, how are you? I love the earrings that you're wearing. Like, compliment them, get them to stay, say, hey, she's nice. Like, what, let's see what she has to sell here. When they pick up a piece, say, oh my gosh, that looks great on you, or who are you buying for today? It's the holidays. You know, you've got to have a list somewhere. Just really try to engage with them and let them see that you're a human and that you're making stuff and that they want to buy the things that you've made. Target's great, but there's no human interaction at Target. It's just plucking something off a shelf and checking out. This is what you've poured your heart and soul into, especially over the next few months, and they want to come and show you that they appreciate it and they want to buy it. So really just try to connect with the customers that come into your booth.
One of the things I always recommend too, to professional makers as well, is that bring somebody with you who's good at this. If you've got, you know, like a friend who's good at this, or an aunt, or your mom, or your sister, or your brother, even whoever might be good at talking to people, ask them to come. If it's not even for the whole day, for a couple of hours, be like, hey, can you come help out? I always tell the story. My mother is a retired high school teacher, so I always thought she stood in front of a classroom and talked, that she would be good at working my table for me when I was running around doing the event work, only to realize after 2 years of her standing there looking nervous that she was a terrible salesperson. She stunk at it. She didn't know what to say to anybody. She was nervous. I had no idea that this would happen because she was a teacher. And so after the second year, I was like, you hate doing this, don't you? And she was like, yeah, I really hate doing this. Can I never do it again? So I fired her. Right there on the spot, because we're that kind of family. I was like, fine, you're fired. And I hired my best friend, who is really good at this stuff. She's really outgoing. She's really fun. We have a great time at the event. Of course, I'm not selling anymore. So she's now going to come and just volunteer because we always have so much fun together at the event. And she's really good at it. She's good at talking to people. She's funny. She like knows how to interact. So, you know, like you want to think about that with who you're bringing. That's the kind
Don't sit at your table and stare at your phone and ignore customers. Please, 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 please. They don't want to see the top of your head as you're texting. They want to talk to you. Like I said, because this is such a unique experience. They want to get to know the person who's making the things they're buying for them and their loved ones. So please put the phone down and interact, as much as it might pain you, like the way it pains me.
It does make a difference if you're standing behind your table and you don't necessarily have to always be smiling and making eye contact, but if you're standing behind your table and looking out at the crowd, someone's much more likely to come up to your table and check out what it's all about versus you know, like going to the next table. So it makes a big difference. So just think about that for the next meeting. Think about your product and what you might say, and sort of prepare something a little bit. And I'll email you and remind you this and send you some samples. So I think that's everything. You're going to get your mentor intro email. I'm going to give you some more instructions in that email about how to utilize your mentor. And we're going to ask everybody to make sure that you check in with your mentor before the next meeting and have some sort of interaction, whether it be via text, via email, via phone call. Now my dog is cleaning himself. I am so sorry. I'm going to put my head like this so you don't have to see it. So you guys will check in with your mentors and you'll get more emails from me. And if at any time you don't understand, or you want clarification, you want anything at all, message me back and I'm here for you. If I might respond back and like CC one of my committee members here and say, hey, this is a great question. I feel like Michelle is going to have a better answer than I. Then, you know, like that, I might, you know, give you, you know, the opportunity to talk to somebody who might have more experience than me in certain aspects, because there are things that I know really well and there are things that I don't. I'm not afraid to, you know, ask someone who knows more. So don't be afraid to reach out. I hope this was helpful. I'm super excited for you guys. This is a huge, really fun event. I hope that it just makes you want to keep making and be young entrepreneurs, because it's just like it's just so satisfying to be able to do this for yourself. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to ask everybody to turn their camera on really quickly so I can say goodbye to your faces. Say about all of your beautiful faces. I'm so excited to work with all of you guys, and you're going to get a lot more info from me in the next week. And if you have any questions, reach out. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, guys, have a great
Thank
rest of
you.
your day.
You as well.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.